I think competition's an important thing.
Well, there is a requirement. I don't know. Is there?
There is a requirement?
Well, I mean, I think if you're talking about from a business standpoint, I think competition makes you be a better business because you have to provide a better service or a better product.
It's better for the consumer, but as a business, you don't want competition. You prefer to kick their ass or be on.
But do you want competition?
Well,
I mean, you just heard me an hour and 10 minutes with a company that has no competition.
and they suck.
And they suck. PSI Testing Center. But because they have no competition,
They can suck.
they are allowed to suck.
Well, there are a whole legacy of laws to stop monopolies.
Well, that's so that I was
For that reason.
I was going toward, that's kind of where I was going to that. Then you start looking at things like Windows. Oh, I love Windows. How many times have they been accused of violating the Sherman Antitrust Act because they buy the company that competes against them
Yeah.
and ultimately gets rid of competition?
Well, Standard Oil did that, and that was the cause of most of these trust busting laws.
Yeah.
Standard Oil,
Ironically funny, in his case, not Getty,
Vanderbilt,
they made it,
Rockefeller.
Rockefeller.
That was Rockefeller.
He then became like the CEO of 72 companies when they busted up
Yeah.
Standard Oil.
Yeah, ultimately, it was the same.
Well, ultimately did exactly what he was trying to do for himself.
Yeah, he still made a bunch of money.
More than anybody ever, except for one Sultan, I think, maybe a trillion.
So I guess there's maybe even a bell curve, and I'm just thinking out loud without really putting a thought of it. You want some competition because it does produce a better product. But ultimately, like you said, you'd love to be the one that I'm the only one supplying. Well, the school, for example, which we don't suck, by the way.
No.
But there's only 9 of us in the state. So that's a strong number for me to have to say, I got to be better than 8 other schools, but yet there's not 800 schools that keeps me awake every night going, how am I going to outdo 800 other competitors?
Right.
Like the taco truck that we've talked about before, you know?
I think everything naturally has competition. Like when something new comes out, the car came out, it's competing against horse and buggies. Well, I can buy a car for $250, or I already have a horse, I can buy a buggy for $14. And
Yeah.
you're competing with something even if you're not. So
Well,
it exists.
So, yeah, you have direct competition, but then you have alternative competition.
Well, you also have customers that have X dollars in their pocket, and you're competing with other things they want to do with that money.
Well, use your car, for example.
Yeah.
Do you want to buy an electric car, which is now competing against a gasoline car?
I think a lot of the competition is within yourself as well. You have to be competitive to stay up on top of things, too.
I'm on the side of plants. I'm trying to provide them carbon dioxide so that plants grow and are plentiful.
What the hell are you talking
Well,
about?
I'm driving a gasoline car.
Oh,
So I can crank out carbon dioxide and keep, plants and conservatism alive.
the only problem with that is they breathe carbon monoxide.
No, plants use carbon dioxide.
No,
Yeah, they do.
that's why you talk to your plant, because you exhale carbon monoxide.
They use it in photosynthesis. Carbon dioxide and produce oxygen. They exhale oxygen for us.
They exhale oxygen, we exhale carbon monoxide.
But my car exhales carbon
Dioxide,
dioxide, which helps the plants.
no, which helps ozone layers, build ozone.
I don't know. I'm not a scientist, you are. But I thought plants in school, photosynthesis uses carbon dioxide, converts it into.
Well, one thing's for sure, we're either gonna scrap this video or get a lot of people.
Or we move on. Hey, tell you what, if you're watching this video and you're a biologist, let us know.
Comment down below.
Yeah,
Or
but competition does foster, I think, a better product.
It's good, and it does weed out
Well,
inferior
It's because a
businesses.
lack of competition creates complacency.
Well, you just experienced it for.
Plants take in carbon dioxide from the atmosphere during photosynthesis.
Okay.
So that science teacher's kid was right.
Still, biologists or botanists, we'd love to hear your comments on that, because rarely do we have Raymond find something that is against what Raymond
Yeah, I
says.
was,
So the more comments.
I was
we get
only
on that,
one off
We'd
though.
appreciate that.
I was only one off,
Just
because
one.
you said dioxide, I said monox, so I was only one off.
Just one little oxygen
Yeah,
molecule.
Yeah, the difference between life and death, no big deal.
If you breathe either one of those, you won't last long.
No,
well, shit.
I think,
I gotta reevaluate my whole life now.
quick, start the cars, let them run.
Yeah,
there's another level of competition that is like friendly competition between, I was competing with the other people at the bank doing the same job as me, trying to kick their asses. Just
was it friendly?
It was to me because I was winning. I mean, it was,
Magnanimous always serves the winner.
but the point was, in sales, they used to publish our list of productivity for each
Yeah.
month, top to bottom. If you're at the top, you love life. If you're in the middle, you're trying to figure out what you need to do to get to the top. If you're at the bottom, you feel ashamed and, go cry to your mama. I think that helps drive performance, some friendly competition.
Well-
I have one in mind for 2024 between you and I that struck me last night. I'll introduce a challenge.
I don't know, I'm gonna take a little different view. I don't think it's friendly.
Well,
I think you can have competitions with friends. I mean, one of my best friend, or not best friends, a good friend of mine owns another school. And we talk all the time. But I would still love to put him out of business.
I guess you can be well, if you're a driven person, it makes you mad when you get beat.
Yeah.
Is that what you're trying to say? Like,
Yeah,
it's not friendly. You want to beat their ass.
yeah.
it's not a personal thing, it's
It's
a
a-
business to business
In a
thing.
professional way.
Yes.
The world is perfect.
I don't wish him any harm or any ill will personally, and he's a good guy.
You just want to outwork them.
I just want my business to be better than his business.
Absolutely.
So that's what I'm saying. I think that competition, because that's always forcing me to kind of look what he's doing and then a couple guys up north and go, okay, I've got to do it cheaper, faster, better product, cheaper price, quicker turnaround time, better taste, which doesn't apply to a school, but that's,
Yeah.
Yeah, we have no taste.
And once
Yeah.
you defeat them or get ahead of them, you also have to keep it.
then you have to stay ahead of them.
You got to keep innovating. That's why competition is good. Ultimately, for the consumer and the business owner, ultimately it's a good thing. But your instinct tells you that, well, I'd like to open a shop where there's not a bunch of competition around me, and there is some level of market analysis.
But the funny thing about that is there are a lot of publicly traded big name companies that solely, well, I'll just come out and say it. Wendy's business model is to build within a 1 mile radius of a McDonald's.
And that's probably smart because McDonald's probably spent $1 bazillion figuring out the best places to build them.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
I-
exactly the truth. They let McDonald's do all the heavy working, traffic count, demographics, all that, and then build, and then Wendy's goes, okay.
I guess across the street will be a lot of.
Well, and I
burgers.
look at it this way, if there's an area where there's more competition, there's a reason why there's more competition. If they're all successful and they're all able to be there,
Yeah.
and they're all competing against each other,
There's enough.
it's the right spot.
There's enough burger consuming people for both of them to be making money, obviously, otherwise one would be closing.
Yeah.
I mean, realistically, what happens, someone pulls up to the drive-through, oh, I'm not gonna wait that long, they go to the next one.
Well-
Or they go to that one, I'm not gonna wait that long.
The one
they
thing
go
I
over
will
there.
say about Wendy's and McDonald's and their competition, if you will notice, they are in competition, but don't serve directly the same product. What I mean by that is, like my daughter always wanted to go to Wendy's because they had baked potatoes.
Oh, yeah.
and grilled hamburgers or,
Flame broiled.
yeah.
The Whopper.
See, so I meant a McDonald's cheeseburger was not cooked the same way as the Wendy's. So at any given moment when one of the kids would go, let's go to McDonald's, Olivia would go, I want to go to Wendy's. And it's right there.
But I want Arby's.
Well,
Because it was, and then Arby's comes along and you think they're in competition, but they're doing roast beef
They got
sandwiches.
curly fries. That's
And
what
then
they got.
Subway comes out with deli sandwiches. So I meant, there is a good thing about having competition, but sometimes it's not a one for one.
Well, it's like cars.
Yeah,
I mean, you want to get a new car, Chevy has a car, Ford has a car.
Yeah.
Not the same cars, both are gonna do the same thing, but,
They almost all look the same to me now.
they've all gone to the same streamlined look, yeah.
They've made station wagons by calling them SUVs.
And then you get companies that produce two cars under two different names,
Corvette's gonna be its own brand now.
Yeah, I heard Corvette was spinning off.
That's actually smart. Take your leader off and let the other be a lost leader.
Yeah. But overall competition, so do you want to be the first one in or the second one in?
Don't know.
I think you wanna be the 10th one in. Because you got 9 other people that are showing you a way that it works.
I think you want to be the last one out.
Well, it depends. If the market's going down, you want to be the first one out.
Well, it also depends on what you're trying to do. Do you wanna start the business, make it profitable in 2 years and sell it and be done? Or do you want it to be something that's gonna be around forever?
That's
There's a difference.
That's a good conversation to have there in itself, is why are you starting a business? And that's completely the answer. Are you starting it, and on our radio show, we just had this. Is it a lifestyle? Is it are you building something for?
Would Mark Cuban made as much money if he had to stick with that business for 30 years?
No.
Absolutely.
And that's another choice. There are people that build businesses with the intent that I'm going to sell it in 2 years and move on. Many of your tech founders,
Oh, yeah. Well, Elon Musk did, PayPal or something.
Yeah.
Boom, $200 million. Most people would go hang it up. He said, no, I'm going to take my $200 million, make Tesla and SpaceX and the Boring Company,
yeah.
and parlayed it down to
Well,
$200 million.
who's the guy that, Reed Hastings started Netflix,
Yeah.
sold Netflix, and then went to something else. Actually, he stepped down from CEO, and then when it got sold, he made a bunch of money and went and started something else.
Well, look at all the little businesses that Facebook has purchased over the years
Yeah.
and pulled into what they're doing. I mean, someone came up with an idea and it was sticking a thorn in the side of someone as a competitor, made it just good enough that they could get paid a lot
Well.
to be out of it, and then there you go.
Well,
So there's another good
If they
reason.
were a true competitor, that's the exact thing that Windows was sued about, by creating an unfair market because they bought everybody that was competing against them. That was the general basis of
Yeah.
that.
I guess if Mac didn't exist, they'd have even more.
But I guess the point is, like you're saying, are you buying it knowing, I don't want to fall in love with this business, I'm going to build it to, $1 million in sales or 100 million, and then spin it off, and I'm going to walk out of here with 4, 5, 50 million and start again.
Some people are built not to focus on one thing for 30 years.
Oh, yeah,
Attention, 3, 4 years in that, I'm losing interest in that. I've got a new
Well,
idea.
like, there are people that want to be a business owner, but they don't care what the business is. So I want to own a business for 30 years, but it doesn't have to be the same business. I'm going to own this business and use that, and, oh, this seems interesting, sell it, make my money, go here. Sell it, make my money, go here.
We have ideas competing with each other all the time.
Yeah.
Ideas, and they compete for our time, and they compete
Yeah.
for our investment.
It does take a special brain to be able to keep all of that categorized and hop from this to this to this to this.
or
to
no
this.
brain.
Yeah. Or completely brain dead.
Hey, y'all, watch this. I'm going to try this.
Well, you can skip around the room for a long time, but eventually you gotta sit down and do something, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's and then being smart enough to understand where you have to do that something. Which one is generating which one's putting the bread on the table, and these other ones are a great idea.
That's another form of competition, is in your own
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
With
Things
yourself.
competing for your attention.
Well, we talked kind of about that the other day, and not with respect to our individual ages,
Yeah.
but where we are in the family age.
Yeah.
You know, my kids are grown. I don't have that competition of time now for softball games and soccer games and homework where your 17-year-old is
Well, yeah,
phasing out.
I'm emerging into that realm where you're at.
And you still got
I'm in.
the young kid at home that
And
needs.
what's gonna blow your mind is, like, right now, what is making me crazy is cutting the string. Like, I'm so used to having to hold on to that string for everything.
Yeah.
Well, when do I stay tethered and when do I let her float off?
And
over
then
here?
I'll tell you the next evolution of that is you're so used to for 17 years walking out of your bedroom and seeing your child there every day.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden now they're grown, have their own house, in some cases their own kids, and you may not see that kid now once a month, twice a month.
Well, the best one is like, we're gonna have a family night. Okay, that sounds good. We all sit there. Well, what do we wanna do? I don't know. Well, this is boring. Can I go to a friend's house? Sure.
Yeah.
What do you wanna do, sweetie? I don't know. I mean,
It
that's
is a different feeling from a parent standpoint to realize or get used to not having a 10-year-old daughter that wants to sit on your lap and read a book to her and talking to you once a day
if I'm
to
lucky.
going to not seeing them for 2 or 3 weeks at a time.
Yeah, I can smell the writing on the wall. I'm trying to soak it up
Yeah.
because I know it's almost over the proximity.
So that has freed me up for more time to do business-oriented stuff. Because I don't have that, I'm going to say the word, the father figure right now like you do.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not reading stories or helping with math homework like I did, or running the kids to 2 soccer games, drop one off and come back over here and go watch this. And then my wife and I, okay, you go to that game and watch the youngest one. I'll go to this game and watch this one.
You're also not dealing with preteen sass.
It doesn't get any better. Wait until you get to teen sass.
Teen sass, yeah.
Wait till you get to millennial sass.
They're all millennials.
Kids
Yeah.
really,
Not mine, not all of mine are.
No.
kids do emulate what they grow up around, though. You know,
Yeah.
I mean,
You got a smart ass kid.
well, she rolls her eyes at me and gives me the stink eye. Where'd she learn that?
We were on vacation and she said that one of the kids I gave him the stink eye or what?
Dead eye.
The dead eye. Gave him the dead eye. What's that?
It's worse than the stink eye. Oh, okay. Well, every phase has value and merits, and then you miss it, but it does create opportunity. I think ultimately you got to find opportunity with what you got.
I think it shows you just how much competition is in your life, whether it's business or it's things that are competing for your attention on a personal level, or any of those things. Competition, and not to get into a different topic in the middle of a topic, but I mean I think the difficulty in a society where we talk about experience versus competition. Experience is great, but people need to understand the importance of competition and how to deal with it.
Time's the biggest resource. That's what's, money and people are resources, but time is probably the most precious of them all, in my opinion.
Time's the only one you don't get back.
There's a limit. It is what it is.
And when you start getting closer to the end of it, it goes faster.
Make you feel younger if you only took 1 decade off of creating children and started again.
I did have a decade off. I didn't have any kids in my zeros. I had kids in
You
the
didn't have any
teens,
new
20s, 30s, 40s.
Not in the 50s.
Not in the 50s.
So
Didn't have
you're
any
getting
kids
ready to roll into it.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Woohoo! 9 years in a row, no kids. Actually, 17 years now.
Yeah.
But isn't the grass always greener? I mean, now you have all this time you don't have, but I'm sure I'm going to miss sitting and telling a story at night. And Dad, will you sit with me?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I said. The biggest factor is not being able to, after 17 years or 18 years, or in some cases 22 when they still live at home, seeing them every day. You take that for granted, like, oh yeah, I'll talk to Connor later, or I'll talk to, Sean later, and then all of a sudden Brandon's like, oh, he's got his own house and married and kids and living somewhere else, and I saw him at Christmas and Thanksgiving. So there was a month there.
Cat's in the Cradle and the Silver Spoon.
Dude, I cry at that song.
Because it's reality.
I cry on that song. I'm not afraid to admit that Harry Chapin song.
Yeah.
I cry at that song because I'm living it right now. When you call your kid and you go, hey, you want to talk? Well, I would, Dad, but, your grandkids are sick. I got to go to work. Renee's got car problems. I got to go do this. I'll call you later. And then it's 3 weeks before you talk to them again.
Yep.
I need money.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that phone call will happen at any time.
Yeah, that calls all the time.
How do you spell Dad? W-A-L-L-E-T.
Yeah, I get that call all the time.
So competition, ultimately, good thing. Don't be afraid of it. What's
I told one of them the other day when he called me, that's how I answered the phone. How much?
That number grows as they age.
Yeah.
I need $20 for my lunch.
See, and even they compete. Well, I need it more than that one needs it.
Yeah.
No, he's got a good job. He doesn't need any money.
I told one of them one day, I said, due to economic downturn, I got to let one of you go. Sorry. But competition is something that I think you should cherish, honestly.
Yeah. I think it's a good thing. Don't be afraid of it.
No.
But be aware of it.
Be cognizant of it and always watch your competitors too.
It's a growth tool.
It is a good growth tool. It's a good growth marker. Have they opened a new service? Well, maybe I need to think about how I can compete with that service. Are they opening a new market? Are they opening in a new product line?
Why don't they do that? That's another thing I ask myself when I.
Yeah, that's a common question I ask myself all the time when I think of an idea, and I'm like, no one's doing that. My second question is, why not?
Yeah. Is it viable? Is it
Why isn't anybody doing that?
cost of entry? Yeah, there's a lot of.
The one thing I am very cognizant of is the fact that I am a smart guy, but I'm not the smartest man in the world. And when I come up with an idea, I see that nobody's doing, that scares me. Because there's something I'm missing.
Like
Why?
delivering groceries?
Like delivering groceries.
20 years ago, you'd have been the leader in the industry.
Yeah, I talked my brother out of doing that. No one would ever do that. That's dumb.
I want to pick a head of lettuce without.
Put all your money in Enron.
Like our math teachers growing up, you're not going to have a calculator with you everywhere you go.
Yeah.
You're going to have to figure out how to. Yeah, I'm going to have my abacus
shit.
in my back pocket. Yeah. Guess what? Now you have a neat thing called photo math. I don't even have to think. I can just take a picture and this does it.
I saw an AI that will do your homework for you.
Yep. Just got to be smart enough to buy the correct product.
Now nobody that has homework to do has money normally. But
Does it show your work?
Your daughter does.
I don't know how you money. That's true.
Your daughter makes money more than some of the guys I know.
She's also not going to learn that there's an AI that will do your homework.
Guess what? She's already learned to watch these videos.
Yeah.
Dad, I already built a computer to do that.
She's distracted with the entertaining seals putting a ball through a hoop on YouTube.
Yeah.
My child was interested in watching people eat ice. When she was like 6. Look at this video. They're eating ice and they make funny faces. Isn't this hilarious? This is the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. But it was a monetized channel. They were making money to make videos of them chewing ice.
There's a channel that she somehow, through 2 clicks, she's on this channel, things that are satisfying. And they're like putting their hand in a bucket of marbles or something. Okay.
Good. I was going a whole different direction with that.
That channel's 2 more clicks. Thank
Yeah. 3 more years away. It's 3 more years away. No, yeah, I get that with people like squeeze stuff. Well, look at the zit popping video world.
Yeah, and the slime.
Nail trimming.
Yeah.
That's interesting too. They sit there and they're doing the nail trims and everything. So,
years ago, there was a lady that just opened toys out of the box.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is, that was millions of people. She was making millions of dollars opening toys.
I've been watching a video of a guy that has turned his entire basement into a Lego world. Like, building mountains and everything else and trains going through it. I'm like, well, this is fascinating. I can't believe he thought of doing things like that. Then an hour later, I'm like, why the hell am I watching Legos for an hour?
You're still watching it. This is dumb. I'll watch it another hour.
Yeah,
I'll give it one more hour and that's it.
that's it, no more.
Well,
All
that's
right.
enough about competition.
Yeah, we gotta go see who's gonna compete to get our
We gotta-
money for lunch.
Something else competing for our times.
Yep,
Yeah,
Let's roll.
I'm out.
all right, peace out.